Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Here's your meme of the day, brought to you guys by 5mind.com. I'm just loving this new era that President Trump has created. You know, very similar to how Barack Obama created a culture, a new age pretentious leftism that kind of realigned the globe. It feels like President Trump's doing the same thing, just the exact opposite. And you know, with Obama, it felt like an American apology tour, right? It was sorry. It was obviously insincere, but it was just pathetic and weak. Meanwhile, with this president, it's the exact opposite. He exudes strength, patriotism, pride. It's unapologetic Americana, and I just frickin' love it. Because what does America have to be ashamed of? Very little. You know, sure, there's unfortunate moments throughout history, but that applies to every country on the globe. If there's one country that should be leading the world, if there's one country that has led the world, that's fought and bled for everything good, it's frickin' America, baby. And so no more apologizing. No more lectures. No more pseudo-intellectual academic bullcrap. No frickin' UFC fights on the White House lawn, and more diplomatic trips like this Japan trip. That's just absolutely epic, and I think inspiring the globe, inspiring the Japanese people to push forward towards greatness instead of getting stuck and dwelling on the past. And you know, considering the current state that Japan's in, the current state of stagnation that the Japanese economy's in, this is exactly what they need. I want to talk about this new era and President Trump's diplomatic presence on the world stage. Let me show you guys some of the most epic moments from this trip, and of course let's have a conversation relating to the more macro elements here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so it all started with this absolutely epic moment. You know, speaking of unapologetic American strength, this is exactly what I mean.
The President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Does it get any more epic than that? You know, some people recoil at this stuff. They see President Trump walking out at these UFC events or some of his other, you know, epic entrances or moments, always leaning on patriotic American songs. Some people see that and they don't like it. They're self-loathing, you know? But not only do I like it, I love it. And you know, it's not just theatrics. It's not just using patriotism as a political shtick. It's freaking real. I think there's substance behind it, especially in moments like these. Showing up in Japan, boarding the USS George Washington, and just displaying strength and ceremony, alliance. This is the kind of stuff that inspires people. And it's also a massive sign of respect. This is how you build bridges. This is how you strengthen alliances. And that's exactly what President Trump is doing on this Japanese trip. Here's another wholesome moment.
Unlike past administrations, we will not be politically correct. You don't mind that, do you? When it comes to defending the United States, we're no longer politically correct. We're going to defend our country any way we have to, and that's usually not the politically correct way. From now on, if we're in a war, we're going to win the war. We're going to win it like nobody ever before. You know, we'd go in, we'd blast the hell out of countries. We'd go in, we'd win, and then we'd leave. They used to say, to the victor belong the spoils. Well, we'd be the victor, then we'd leave, because we had people that didn't know what the hell they were doing. But we're also very honored to be joined by hundreds of our incredible Japanese partners, and they are incredible. Thank you very much. Thank you. This woman, that's right. This woman is a winner. So, you know, we've become very close friends all of a sudden because their stock market today and our stock market today hit an all-time high. That means we're doing something right. But the cherished alliance between the United States and Japan is one of the most remarkable relationships in the entire world. Really, there's never been anything like it. Born out of the ashes of a terrible war, our bond has grown over 8 decades into the beautiful friendship that we have. It's a foundation of peace and security in the Pacific. So on behalf of all American sailors stationed in this beautiful country, let's hear it for our allies and the Japanese self-defense forces and all of the Japanese people that we love and respect. And I have such respect for Japan and the country. And now I have a really great respect for the new and incredible Prime Minister. And I have to say this, the first female Prime Minister in the history of Japan.
This is a president that knows when to go big and when to be gracious. He's building bridges again here. He's signaling alliance. He's giving the Japanese Prime Minister her moment to shine. He's putting her on a pedestal, but most importantly, elevating American-Japanese relations. And this stuff works. It seems corny, but it works. It delivers the goods. It creates the perfect optics. And of course, all the diplomatic work that President Trump is engaging in, it's delivering results. That's the most important thing. You got billions of dollars of investment, a lot of it actually coming from Japan as well, not to mention the peace deals that he's negotiating across the world. And yet the left keeps telling us that he torches relationships, right? Gavin Newsom declared Donald Trump an invasive species.
I mean, he's an invasive species.
For California.
For the country. For the world. He's a wrecking ball, not just the symbolism and substance of the East Wing. He's wrecking alliances, truth, trust, tradition, institutions.
He's destroying our traditions and our relationships and our alliances, and everybody hates him. You know, maybe, sure, that applies to, I don't know, Canada, the United Kingdom, although the United Kingdom has certainly been kissing his toes lately, but that's not true for the whole world. And even these pathetically weak globalist nations with these dying, decaying left-wing cultures, they talk a big game, right? But then when they're in the same room as President Trump, they're kissing the damn ring. It's a total myth, this idea that President Trump's a laughingstock. In 2016, to a certain extent, that was more true. Just like when that German delegation at the UN laughed at President Trump on stage when he was warning them about their reliance on Russian energy. But now who's laughing? They claim President Trump has lost credibility, but he's the most credible man on the world stage. He's got his credentials. People know not to mess with him, not to F with him. He's been right about so many things, and they know that when he says something, he freaking means it. And then you got people who disrespect him and continuously earn stupid prizes. This is not a president that has lost credibility. It's not a president that's a laughingstock. This is a president that exudes competence and strength on the world stage. And everybody knows it. You can't convince me otherwise. That's why we've got nations begging to deal with this president. Look at what was caught on that hot mic moment with Indonesia's president. People are dying to get in America's good graces. Sure, you've got the globalist outliers, you've got Trump derangement syndrome running rampant in Canada, you got the champagne socialist leaders who scoff at President Trump, but all those countries are losing bigly. Meanwhile, the other nations and the other leaders that are getting with the program, like Javier Milei, for instance, they're breaking through. They're breaking records. Look at what just happened in the Argentinian election. The leftist media told you that the polls were against Javier Milei, his party was going to recede, and they just won in an absolute super decisive blowout victory. This is a global realignment, and it's all thanks to President Trump's presence on the world stage. That's why Japan's going right. That's why so many European nations are going right. Well, actually, it's kind of a double entendre now, isn't it? They're going right politically, but also going right in the right direction. President Trump created a new culture, a culture of unapologetic freedom, patriotism, and capitalism. He has absolutely BTFO'd this pathetic left-wing culture that Obama started. And so they can laugh all they want, claim that Donald Trump's a laughingstock, but obviously the exact opposite is true. They frickin' wish they were in President Trump's position right now. He's woken up so many people, so many nations. He's unleashed a new patriotic conservative era that isn't scared of the mainstream media anymore, that doesn't care about what these left-wing hacks are writing on their frickin' MacBooks. He's unleashed a grassroots movement that cannot be stumped. You cannot stump the Trump. And boy, have they tried. If he was such a laughingstock, you think they'd be exercising all these nuclear options against him? No, they know. There's a reason why his approval rating goes up, even 10 years later, because he's created something that is real, that's grassroots, and you can't put that genie back in the bottle. And what do they have? A bunch of fake slogans, a bunch of fake narratives, truly nothing. Meanwhile, this president is building so much. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.